Hello and welcome to the SCLD Podcast. My name is Erin Dodge. Today I'm here with Stacy Goddard, and we're here to talk about something happening in the fall, but there's a little bit more to it starting in the summer, and it is Small Business Saturday. And what is Small Business Saturday, for those who don't know?
I'm so glad you asked, Erin, and thanks for having me here, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
Small Business Saturday, for those who don't know, is actually an initiative that was started by American Express in 2010 as a response to the recession.
Okay.
And they looked at it as a way to really spotlight local small businesses who were maybe getting left out of the biggest shopping weekend of the year.
So we're talking about Black Friday.
We are indeed.
The day after Thanksgiving, or sometimes it's Thanksgiving as
Yes.
well. But anyway.
Yes, younger me, I mean, if you've read any of the blogs I've written, they talk a lot about my bad credit decisions in the past. And so, as you might imagine, Black Friday was like a huge deal for me
Of course.
in my late teens.
You were probably in line at dark 30.
I got up at 4 a.m. one time to get in line at Target, I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
But it's definitely a shopping event that's geared toward big box stores. So
Yes.
your Targets, your Walmarts. I mean, Amazon has just a gazillion things going on.
Mm-hmm.
But during the recession, as American Express recognized, and I think we've all learned since then, our community's backbone is our small businesses.
Yes.
And if they're not operating and employing our neighbors and supporting initiatives in our communities,
Yeah.
then the whole thing's kind of going to fall apart, because corporate Target isn't necessarily going to care about Spokane.
No,
Washington.
and local businesses support local other businesses. So, like if you're creating specialty soap, or you're a beekeeper and you have honey, and you know your small business shops are going to support you and sell your product, versus, like you said, like a Target. They're gonna buy the products that they can get in
Right.
bulk and what people usually see on a shelf. But local businesses can support the community and local makers.
Exactly. And so American Express, because of course they are a company that is hoping people will go out and spend a lot of money.
Sure.
They don't want to step on Black Friday,
No.
but like, let's keep the momentum going
Yes.
into the weekend. And once you've hit all those big giant sales on Friday, turn your attention to your favorite local businesses, restaurants,
Yeah.
coffee shops on Saturday, and spend some of those dollars locally. And so this is something, like I said, that's been around since 2010. It wasn't really on my radar, other than, you know, yay me, consumerism.
Sure.
But it was actually 2016, one of my librarians came to a team meeting and said, this is something that's happening. And one of the things that's part of Small Business Saturday is what American Express calls neighborhood champions.
Okay, yeah. So the library has been a neighborhood champion. So yeah, what's involved in that?
Yes, and so her name was Tammy. She's moved on since bringing this initiative forward to us, but Tammy was noticing that there were some other library systems around the United States that would sign up to be neighborhood champions. And what a neighborhood champion is an entity that just kind of rallies the troops, if you will, around the Small Business Saturday event. So there's a couple of components. One is talking to local businesses, getting them to see the benefit, because it's really just getting promotion, getting excitement
Yes.
building, and then making the community aware that this is a thing that's happening.
Yes.
And so oftentimes local chambers of commerce might be neighborhood
Okay.
champions, which makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
Sometimes it might be business associations or merchant groups or things like that. But Tammy had noticed in some journals that, a couple of libraries had tried doing this.
Okay.
And, you know, small business support is one of my team's
I was
area
going
of
to say,
focus.
so your librarians are already out there talking to businesses, chambers of commerce, and those merchant groups that are around Spokane County. And
Right.
so they were already in the mix.
Right, exactly.
And so they thought, hey, we can be the neighborhood champion.
Yeah, and so
wonderful.
we looked at that and thought, let's give it a try. And so we decided to use our Cheney community as the test case, if you will. That was our community that we focused on in 2016. And Tammy did a lot of legwork going to the individual small businesses. And if you've been out in Cheney, if you have a kid that goes to Eastern, or you're just out there,
Yes.
Cheney is hopping, and they've got if
yes.
you've not gone out there and gone to the Mason Jar, I can't recommend it enough. I was a library supervisor out in Cheney for a number of years, and one of my favorite things to do, again, shopping, bad me, me was the Owl Pharmacy. It was like a block
The
away.
pharmacy is great.
And it used to be, it kind of had that Halpin's vibe. So if you were in the valley, Spokane Valley, and you ever went to Halpin's in the valley, so yes, a pharmacy, but then they also had just a ton of fun little gifty items.
They had lots of gifts, yeah.
Yeah, so spotlighting those sorts of businesses. And what Tammy found when she was talking to the businesses at first was they weren't sure what was in it for them or why,
Sure.
and then when we explained it, like, we're going to do some promotion. And the other thing that is a part of this on the Neighborhood Champion side is you come up with an event or an activity that gets customers into the stores because they're participating in this thing, and maybe there's a little prize that they'll win. And so when they realize, like, oh, we're creating this event, we're trying to build up interest and buzz. All you have to do is promote that this event is happening. It doesn't cost the business owner anything.
Right.
People got on board pretty quickly.
Well,
and so we had, I think that first year, we had 8 or 9 businesses participate.
Okay.
And I have to say, this will be our 7th year, and we've had some of those businesses in Cheney have been there since the beginning.
Every year.
Yeah, the pharmacy for sure.
Yes.
I don't think the Mason jar was quite
I don't
in
think
existence yet.
I don't think no. I think it came a year or two later. I think they.
But with the library, what we'll do then is some activity, and I think the first year we had a scavenger hunt. So the draw into the businesses was they would go in and try to get a question answered, like, what's at the center of the display in the Owl Pharmacy, or how much is a cup of coffee at the coffee stand.
Right.
So and then the shoppers would finish that scavenger hunt, turn it back into the library for a prize, and then we gave a little prize. And I think the first year, it was probably something that we had really nice shopping bags that American Express sends to the neighborhood champions as part of the promotional materials. So we had some little prize or stipend.
Yeah.
But it was really successful.
And I know one year we had like $5 little like gift cards or gift certificates, and then I think it went into more like a drawing situation where
You're right.
we had more and more people participating, which is great, and so and it would be like more like a drawing for whoever had turned in their activity.
Right, exactly. Yes. And so after the success of the first year, we looked at, could we expand it in 2017? And we, that year, I believe, added Medical Lake, which if you've been out to the West Plains at all, Medical Lake is another great, smaller community, very distinct, lots of great small businesses out there.
Shops on a couple of certain streets and very walkable.
Yes, very walkable. And the library's, kind of just a couple blocks off of kind of the main shopping drag as well. So again, very successful. We had some prizes, and you're right. One year we did offer $5 gift certificates that we bought from local businesses.
And it's the friends, I think, who's been the friends of the various libraries that have sponsored this every year. So shout out to the friends for the various groups, because they're, along with getting some materials and some bags and things from American Express, the friends have pitched in funds to help with these prizes and help boost Small Business Saturday and the businesses and just that whole community of each of their communities. So,
yes, and thank you for the shout out to the friends, because when I said, we bought gift cards, of course the library, we can't spend district funds on gift cards, but with the generous support of our various friends groups, we were able to do that, and that was really kind of, like doubly supporting these businesses, because using the friends funds, we're buying gift cards that support this business and hopefully encourage the prize winners to, keep shopping there beyond their gift cards. So very exciting. Yes. Flash forward now to 2022, and we have 4 communities that we are neighborhood champions for with Small Business Saturday. Cheney and Medical Lake, as we've talked about. Millwood community, which is near the Argonne Library, and that is like a great, like everything's on a strip.
The main drag on Argonne. And a few side streets, little, shops down the side of the street and stuff. But
exactly. So
the Rocket,
the Rocket,
Stockwell's, I think.
Stockwell's is a newer business that's open, but yes, so great.
Is it the Paisley Pooch, the pet place, the Corner Book Cafe?
The Corner Bookstore has been, he's been there forever. They've got like puppets and all sorts of fun stuff in there.
So all kinds of cute little shops.
Yes, so fantastic. And then our 4th community is Deer Park, and they're the newest community that we've been championing, and this will be the 3rd year.
But they also have kind of a core area of their town with the shopping and whatnot. And
definitely, so very, very exciting. We're really looking forward to doing this again. And along the way, and possibly, I'd have to double check, Erin, but I think during the pandemic really threw a wrench into our neighborhood champion plans because no one was going anywhere.
Right. We did do a little bit last year. We in 2021.
We did.
We changed it from Small Business Saturday to Small Business Saturday all week long.
We did.
So it gave folks a little more time to space out their shopping and also, not make it so crowded on one single day.
And especially some of our smaller towns, like I think Medical Lake, we've got a couple of bakeries or, restaurants and a couple of coffee shops, and there's no way I'm hitting 4 food places. I mean, I would.
How many coffee stands can you hit in a day? Well,
in theory, I love the idea, but I think my doctor would probably say
maybe spread them out.
Yeah, maybe spread them out. So the idea of having it be a week long, and that allowed us to talk with some businesses that maybe don't have Saturday hours. So sometimes, depending on what it is, it might be. Like massage therapy or something that does Monday through Friday appointments, even hair salons, some of them, may not be open on Saturday.
Yep.
So this is allowing us to have more businesses participate. They're not.
So you're mentioning businesses that aren't just stores.
That's true.
So what sorts of businesses can participate in this program?
I should have double checked a little bit because there are some limitations from American Express.
I see.
So like things like gas stations, not really eligible. Things that are primarily like if it only was a liquor store, that's not going to be.
Okay.
But if it's someplace like, I don't know if the Owl Pharmacy, I'm picking on the Owl Pharmacy, but if they maybe have an aisle where they have some alcohol that they sell, that's okay because they have a bunch of other things that they're doing.
A lot of other stuff. Okay.
So it could be a retail store, it could be restaurants. A couple of the limits with American Express is that it does need to be a storefront. It can't be like me selling beaded bracelets out of my home.
I see.
And we're looking at how we might be able to incorporate some home-based businesses in the future.
Okay.
But that's one limitation. And then there's a limit on the number of employees and whether it's a franchise or, like Target is not going to be a small business Saturday.
No, and neither is, what is it? Is it Buy Right or like
Buy-Mart?
Buy-Mart.
Right.
And Cheney, that's a, even though that's not a Walmart, that's a bigger chain kind of store.
Right.
So.
And I think things like, most communities have a Subway. I think Medical Lake even may have a Subway. I can't remember. They had a McDonald's for a while.
Okay.
So those chain restaurants maybe not.
But if you've got a chain of 2 or 3 in
for
Spokane County area, that would qualify if you're in one of our communities.
And certainly, if there's a business owner who's interested but isn't sure, please reach out to us because we can look and see. We did that a lot the first couple of years, especially. Does this business qualify? Are we able to add them to this program? And
we have it's not live at the moment, but we're going to have it very, very soon, or maybe it is live at the moment.
That's right.
It could
this
be
is from the future.
But you can go to our website at scld.org/shop-small-forum, and hopefully that's up on the screen right now for you to see. And you can fill out your information, and one of our librarians will contact you, and they can talk about all of these sort of the limitations and if you fall into the category of being part of Small Business Saturday.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And I will say that maybe this is the time to talk about like why these 4 communities and not others. So there's a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One of which is just staffing limitation.
Sure.
We just don't have the capacity it would be great if we could do our entire service area.
Oh, all of the towns in Spokane County is a little too much.
Right. And so knowing that we had those limitations, we early on looked at where could we make the most impact. And something like Spokane Valley, which is great, and there's a huge amount of small businesses.
Vast, though.
It's vast, and they've got a really large active chamber supporting them as well. And that's not to say the West Plains has a great chamber as well, but like Medical Lake, for example, they're maybe not directly, seeing chamber activities every day. Right. So, and it is a distinct, defined community. We have experimented or tried out in the past other areas, like we tried Moran Prairie one year.
Yes.
And again, there's some great businesses up there that I love. There's a Mexican restaurant up there on 57th.
Yes. Is it Maracas or there's also
Rancho Viejo? Rancho Viejo.
Well, Maracas is also very good, and that's right by the Albertsons. I live up there, so
Mexican
I know
restaurant
all of the
sounds like a whole other podcast we need to do.
I'm just going to do one more shout out. There's also De Leon. So I have got a mecca
Exactly.
of Mexican food up by Marin Prairie.
So if you're familiar with the Moran area up on, 57th and Regal,
Yes.
Regal,
Yep.
there's a lot of fun little shops,
Yes.
but they aren't really in walking distance.
Yeah.
It's a super busy highway. I wouldn't necessarily want to walk myself from Rancho Viejo, like down even a couple
Right.
blocks to the
No, I know
ice cream
there's
place.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
I
we
get
tried
that.
it, but I think there were just some extra factors that weren't there.
Yes.
But it is definitely something we evaluate every year. And if the opportunity came up where we could add another community, we'd
Yes.
definitely be open to that. So,
Very cool. But for now, we're talking about Cheney, Medical Lake, Deer Park, and Millwood, which would be Argonne Library.
Argonne
which is
Library, correct.
cool.
Yeah.
And so, what now? You've got something here.
I have a little prop, yes.
Okay, so this is an activity we did last year, and it looks like we're going to kind of do the similar activity this year. Do
It
you want to hold
is,
that up and
sure.
show folks?
So our activity last year was a Shop Small Passport. So our participating businesses had stamps that we purchased for the event with some grant funds that we were fortunate to have. And so as shoppers went to different businesses in town, they got a stamp on their passport. And then once they had a certain number of stamps, I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, you don't have to fill out the whole thing.
No, certainly not. Just like my own passport is woefully like I only have the one stamp from when I went to
Exactly.
Mexico, and that was it.
I did go to England once.
Oh, you're
So
fancier
I've
than
got,
me, for
I've got
sure.
the one stamp as well.
But yes, so there's a lot of steps because we do have a bunch of people who just decide we're going to hit as many places as we can.
Sure.
And so they'll come back and there'll be like 8 or 9 stamps,
It'll be
which
stamped up.
fantastic. Which again, that speaks to the
Yes.
walkability of some of the communities. Like if you're in Cheney, it's really easy to hit 6 or 7
Yes.
right in a row. And then they would turn this back into us at the library, and then their passport went into a drawing, and we actually, courtesy of our Friends of the Libraries groups and their generosity, we gave away 4 $50 gift cards in
Nice.
each community last year, which were redeemable at any of the participating businesses.
Oh, cool.
So I know that the mason jar was a hot item. I know
grab
someone
this.
picked the Rocket Bakery. I think someone actually
Ooh.
picked the Paisley Pooch too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you've got a dog that you regularly get groomed,
Yeah.
that can get spendy.
It sure can.
And now I wanted to kind of focus for just a second on the
Sure.
back.
Sure.
Because your team did a lot of work putting together Google Maps. For
And
all
your
the
team did a lot
businesses.
of work getting everything on the pass.
Well, sure. So if I don't know if you can see it, but there's little QR codes for each community, and that you can scan it with your phone, and it takes you right to the Google Maps, so you can make sure you don't miss any. Like if as you're going through and doing your small business Saturday shopping,
Yes.
and so that's a teamwork.
Indeed.
To make it
indeed.
easier for shoppers and also for businesses, so you can know who's participating and get your passport stamped. And this year we're gonna do a passport, but we might do something a little different, maybe stickers or
Yeah.
some other fun way to indicate you've been there.
Yes, indeed. Because we got some really nice stamps last year that said, thank you for supporting my small business. They were not stamps that we could continue to afford to buy without grant
Without grant money.
So
They were fun stamps.
they
but
were fun, and again,
Yeah.
it was a nice feeling to support that
Sure.
Etsy shop owner when we bought those for the project. But yes, we're looking at other
Okay.
ways that we can get that done.
And we touched on this briefly.
Sure.
We went from one Saturday, and now we're pretty much going to go forward with a whole week.
Yes, I don't see that changing. I think it just, all the uncertainty around COVID,
Yes.
and then just recognizing that people,
Life
people work
schedules.
Saturday. Like
Yeah.
they might be working retail that Saturday and can't go out and shop,
Exactly.
and their day to hit some of the different shops might be Monday.
And I love that you get a whole week. You get a Saturday to another Saturday, and you don't have to feel crunched like I have to drop everything and this is the Saturday that I can do this and participate and get all
Right.
the good deals or whatever. You have a week to plan it out. And I think, you could go to multiple communities.
Yes.
You could spend a day in Cheney, and you could spend a day in Medical Lake, and you could go up to Deer Park, and every community will have something a little different because all of the shops and all the business owners are different.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I encourage people every year with this that if you have not gone out to some of our communities, Deer Park is fantastic.
Yeah.
Medical Lake is great. Cheney is wonderful.
Millwood is
Millwood,
yeah.
Millwood is close to me, so I drive through there almost every day. But yeah, it's just each town has its own feel and flavor, and it's just a great little outing for the family. If you haven't been out to Cheney or Medical Lake, the first time I drove out to Medical Lake, I thought I took the wrong exit because it is like 5 miles from I-90 till you get to the town.
You're kind of driving it, not a lot's there, and the next thing you know, there it all is.
Right, and it's much bigger now than it was 10 or 15 years ago too. But so it's a great little day trip if you have. And Deer Park is a bit of a longer trip.
You can also incorporate Waterfront Park. Oh well, maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe in November.
It's going to be November. Take a picnic.
But I will say that these communities all typically have some special event, holiday kickoff happening.
That's
so I know Cheney and Deer Park in particular usually have something else going on, whether it's like a traveling art, like an art show crawl, or some other like craft fairs at the high school or things like that. So there are a lot of other things to take advantage of when you're visiting.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Small Business Saturday, Shop Small. If you own a business in any of these 4 communities and you want to participate, go to our website at scld.org and look for that Shop Small form. And if you're just want some good ideas of things, to buy, come to small businesses on Shop Small. Well, it's not Shop Small, it's Shop Small, Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday.
All week long.
Right, exactly. Just, and I don't know, I feel better about the money I'm spending when I spend it at a local store.
Right.
That's not to say that I love me some Target. I go to Target, but it feels like, this was, and part of it is, my parents have a small business and I know like every sale makes a difference. But just knowing like this is staying in the community, these folks are paying, taxes and they're paying wages to people that live in my neighborhood.
And they're buying goods from other makers in the community, and yes, they're employing, I agree.
It's just this, it feels better.
It feels good to support your neighbors.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
All right. Well, thank you, Stacy. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
all the work that your team does and working with the communities and with the businesses. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.